Good evening. It is Sunday, March 15th, 2026. Welcome to episode 133 of Porterhouse and Teal Live. Thanks for joining us this evening, and thank you for joining me, Rebecca. How are you doing?
As always.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy I got a hold of somebody to trim my palm tree.
Yeah. How's that? How did that go?
That went well. I found out that we had a raccoon living up in there, but he lost his home, or she.
Yeah. We're constantly adding to the burn pile. It's huge out there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a lot of work around the property, getting things taken care of, doing a lot of spring cleanup. It'll soon be time for me to start going out and mowing, but I don't want to go out too soon. I want to wait till the grass starts to cure a little bit, so I only have to go out there and mow once rather than go back and do it a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Given the fact that prices of fuel have gone up quite a bit here in the last week or so, since the addition of the latest war we're in. And an interesting little tidbit is that if you took the price of fuel, so say like a month ago, the price of fuel a month ago, compare that to the price of fuel today, it's gone up anywhere from 77 cents to, 80 cents on average nationwide. If you took the entire amount of what we spend every day in fuel and compared that from 30 days ago to today we're spending cumulatively per day $290 million more.
Wow, that's a lot.
Did I explain that well enough to you where you were able to understand it? But that's a lot. So we've added $290 million Americans have had to pay in addition to what we were paying a month ago, just in one day.
You know what I think?
What's that?
I think our town needs to put in more bike lanes, and we all should start riding our bicycles. Well,
that's certainly an option, maybe moving forward, but that's not an option for everyone. But I guess I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like how does that set with you?
Not well. I have a small car, so gas for me is probably less than, say, somebody that has an SUV.
Sure, it's all relative, but you're paying more just as everyone else is paying more.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not what was sold to us.
Yeah, we had this idea that things were going to be better. I thought this was the golden age of America.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what you remember hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I just don't feel like I'm winning. I don't know. What about you?
I definitely don't feel like I'm winning because everything costs more. You go into the grocery store, or you're buying a pair of shoes, or buying gas, whatever. Everything costs more.
I think the gas thing is it's a bigger deal than average person thinks about. Yeah, you're paying more at the pump, but that also translates to more on everything that's being shipped, right? Whether that's coming over on a barge, that takes fuel. Whether it's driving up and down the highways in big rigs, that takes fuel. And those costs are going to be passed on to us, the consumer. So the rising cost of fuel is a really big issue. And, it's like a tax almost, much in the same way that, Trump's tariffs have essentially become like a tax.
Mm-hmm.
So, that cost gets passed on to the consumer, and we are the ones who pay for that. And, obviously it's sold to us in a different fashion, right? The administration puts it out there like this is going to benefit us and everything. And maybe some people have that belief, and maybe for some people it has benefited them, but I haven't seen it.
I haven't. You know what? I guess kind of kills me because I'm a person that does the grocery shopping. Is when you go to, I'm going to use cream because we use heavy cream in our coffee, and for a quart, it's $7.98. So now the sign is that it's actually $8.98, and it's on sale for $7.98. Now, I don't know if people don't pay attention or what, but that's not on sale.
Yeah, there's a lot of marketing and sleight of hand that goes on in the grocery stores. They shift the prices around and bump them up and move things in the aisles to kind of funnel you to purchasing certain things that they want you to buy. And I don't know. I don't know. I do remember this. I remember we were going to be winning.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever.
Yeah. That's our president.
That is.
Yeah. It's that kind of stuff's okay if you're actually going to be delivering on it, right? Mm-hmm. Acting like a fucking idiot and, getting up there and speaking kind of in a over the top type of a fooling around way. It's all fun and games until, you're not even really delivering on the things that you're saying.
Right.
And I think that's the disconnect for me. A lot of things that Trump said, I think we all look at that and we kind of laughed about it. And, oh, hey, he's giving the business back to the fake news media and he's talking shit back to people and, all the things that he said he was going to do, but he hasn't really done any of it, Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Bill Clinton, you need to look at him because he was on the island. And then it turns out the island was a hoax, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for Trump to have done some things, but clearly he's not delivering on that. And I really think we can get into this a little bit more. I don't want to get too heavy into politics right off the bat, but I just think that he's really missed an opportunity. And as I said in our last broadcast, one of the things that you're going to see a lot more of these days is propaganda, particularly surrounding this conflict, the war. And both sides are playing the messaging game, and it's really difficult to kind of find out the truth. It's difficult to know what is true, what's not. And in this age of, AI and deep fakes and all of that kind of thing, it really does kind of muddy the water for people. And I think it has an effect of really making people kind of just tune out, even more so than they already have been, which is unacceptable. Or I won't say unacceptable, I would just say unfortunate. Because what it does is when people tune out, then you become a lot more susceptible to your government just doing whatever the fuck they want. And that's really what they're doing right now. They don't give a fuck what any of us think that voted for change. It's all the same thing, man. It's the uniparty. There's no fucking difference at all.
Not that I can see.
Well, here's how they play the game. They throw little issues your way, saying that they're going to, we're going to close the border, or we're going to fight for your right to have an abortion, or we're going to do this for climate change, or we're going to roll back DEI, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And these are really not that big an issue. Really, they're kind of they're cultural issues, but they divide people along those cultural lines. So they're kind of a big deal for the people that are saying, yeah, climate change, or yeah, abortion, or yeah, this or that. Now the border, that's a fucking huge issue. And that's one thing that I will say that Trump has absolutely delivered on as far as closing the border. But where's the mass migration? Where's the mass deportations? He's essentially walked away from that because it's not going to play well moving into the midterms. But tell me how that makes sense when you just started a war nobody fucking wanted, except the neocons and the Israeli lobby. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And so, I did want to talk about some of that stuff, but around here on our homestead, things have been going well. We've been training our chickens, and right now they are laying up a storm. And that's the benefit of getting your chickens early, like getting them. I get mine like in September, October, maybe latest November is when the latest I'll get them. Mm-hmm. But what that'll afford you is that, like right now in March, our new hens are in full production. Whereas, a lot of people are buying chickens right now. They're buying chicks at Tractor Supply, or they're buying them, and that's great. Buy them when you can buy them, because at some point there'll probably be a chick shortage or whatever, and people will be freaking out about eggs again. So go get your chickens and get them started. But ours are already full on laying eggs, man. We're getting 27 a day, 26.
We had 27 birds, mm-hmm. and we're getting anywhere from 25 to 26 eggs. So we haven't got the full 27 yet, right, but I'm sure it will come.
Yeah, and we're giving them away to our family and stuff, and that's just a nice thing to be able to do. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. We're selling a little bit, but we're giving away what we have as excess, and right now we have quite an excess.
Quite an excess. Yes, we've given away, I think I said 11 dozen, I believe.
Yeah, just in the last 2 days. And we sold 7.5. Yeah. So on top of that, in the week. Yeah. Yeah. So, get your chickens, guys. Right now, eggs are cheap. They're super cheap in the stores. Less than $3 a dozen, which that should be almost a sign, for people to know that that's not going to stay that way.
It depends on what store you buy them in too, because I kind of paid attention today when I was in the store, and it wasn't that way in Rayleigh's. They were higher than that in Rayleigh's.
Right. Generally speaking, this time of year, egg prices are going to be pretty stable because it's the time where they're laying, and you have a lot of, good production, not only in the hatcheries, but also everybody who has chickens, their chickens are starting to lay again. So there's really like an abundance of eggs. Mm-hmm. But that's only dependent upon when the next fucking bird flu comes through. The next time they have a bird influenza outbreak, they're going to come through and they're going to kill millions of chickens. And then all of a sudden the price of eggs is going to be, $8, $12, and people will be freaking out again because eggs are so expensive. But anyhow, nonetheless, we are set, with ours. And the thing that I'm excited about is that my system now is essentially, it's mostly autonomous. The only thing that we really have to do is just go in there and monitor. So the feeding is automatic. The watering is automatic. The doors are automatic as far as when they open in the morning, when they close, chickens put themselves up. In fact, they'll be going to bed. They just got fed about 6 minutes ago, and they will be the doors will shut at 8 p.m. tonight. So they've got a few more minutes to run around outside, but by the time it's dark, doors will go down and they'll be in for the night. The thing that I'm most excited about recently is the nesting box that I just installed. And it's a roll-away nest box that I'm actually going to do a video on, because I think people might benefit in kind of just seeing how I've got things set up in the chicken yard with this automation and whatnot. But it's pretty cool. Actually, it's working out cool. It's got an auto roost on it, so that the roosting bar that comes down, it lowers itself at the time that we've set, and then it raises itself at the time that we set. So the nice thing about that is that the chickens don't go in there and try and sleep at night. It closed at 5 p.m. tonight because they were already done laying eggs, and then it'll open in the morning at 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. And so if that didn't happen, you would either have to go out there and manually do it, which I don't really want to do. Right. Mm-hmm. That's one less thing I have to do. And if I didn't do that, they would go in there and sleep at night, and then they'd shit in there all night, and then you'd have poop in your nesting boxes. So this just keeps it clean and sanitary. So the eggs come out,
And they're nice and clean.
Yeah, so that's kind of a change from what we've been dealing with.
This box also comes with a fake egg to give them an idea if that's what they're supposed to do, is go in there and lay an egg. And it's pretty funny because the chickens actually like that egg.
Well, that's why it's in there.
I know. It's larger than the rest of their eggs, but they get in there and get it all tucked up underneath like they're doing something fancy.
Yeah. 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 So that's something I'm pretty excited about. I'm looking forward to, making a video on that and sharing that. Mm-hmm. But that will ensure that we will be able to slide away from this homestead a little bit easier now that we have that. That's always the big challenge, I think, that homesteaders have, is not having or finding somebody who can watch your place. And I don't think it's fair to ask, people to come in and look after your place and there's all the shit they got to do. So if you can set it up in a way that it's very user friendly, they just kind of have to swing in and maybe collect eggs or just make sure that the pump is still running, and the water's still on, mm-hmm. breaker didn't trip or something like that. Then, they don't have a lot to do, and it just makes it a lot easier. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more of that around here.
You're looking forward to paying higher gas prices to drive the RV?
Yeah. Well,
that's the downside to it.
Yeah. It gets good gas mileage. It gets about anywhere from 14 to 17 miles to the gallon. So that's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. We opted to stay with a smaller one, mm-hmm. as opposed to going to a larger, which works out great as far as parking, mm-hmm. and maneuvering it around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just the two of us. So.
Yep. Another thing that I'm going to be doing here, Rebecca, I think I started to mention that to you, but now's the time where I need to go down this year and get some topsoil. And it's something I like to try to do every other year, not every year, because of the compost that I make here winds up top dressing most of my garden boxes. But every other year, I like to bring in some different soil. Mm-hmm. And so we have just south of here, there's a really nice, it's a like a nursery supply place, but they have a lot of topsoil and compost that they have there for you to choose from. And it's quality stuff. And so I'm going to probably go down and get 1.5 to 2 yards of that. So I'll be top dressing beds here probably in the next week or so, because it will be soon time to start planting some annuals. Mm-hmm. Right. We're not going to get too crazy this year planting a bunch of stuff. It'll just be the stuff that we use most, which is peppers and tomatoes and, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some carrots and maybe some root vegetables and stuff that we can throw in.
And basil.
Yeah. I got to get the basil in soon. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day.
Ours is the best. You can get it from the store, but ours tastes best.
Yeah. Yeah. Things are drying out around here. I had to start the sprinklers just yesterday because the lawn's even starting to kind of start to turn brown. So
getting a little crispy sections.
Not really crispy, just you can tell the ground's really firming up, and I'd want to, just turn them on and get everything working because we're going to be trending that way pretty soon. We're experiencing temperatures right now that are 80.
They're in the 80s. I think it was supposed to be 83 today.
Yeah. And so just fantastically beautiful spring weather. You couldn't ask for more. The temperatures are super pleasant to be out at all times of the day. In the heat of the day, in the evening, it's pleasant. It's not super windy. There's not a lot of bugs. So, there's not a lot more that
that's good. There's not a lot of bugs.
Yeah. There's not much more that you can ask for from the standpoint of weather. So things are really waking up around here. The grass is putting that final push on now that the soil is heated up. And I've noticed it just in the last couple of days, the the grass out front's just really turning on.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, that's why I was waiting to mow, because of, fuel costs and such. But yeah.
And our feral cat, who's been doing a good job keeping the mice down, never knew if it was a male or female because she was feral. And I say she because we've had a second cat show up who definitely is a male and is interested in her.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we wind up with kittens or whatnot. But yeah, it's not a problem. So what do you got going on?
But he's like her. He's not friendly.
That's good.
He's just out doing his thing.
Good.
So for me, I am dealing with a pool who has some problems.
As always,
the pool is like having a boat. Tried real hard and actually found a pool guy. So I'm kind of excited about that. He's come and has done a little bit of work and hopefully will be signed up to do a weekly maintenance. And this is something that I've been doing for 26 years that we've lived here for the most part.
You've been the pool guy.
I've been the pool guy. And the pool started having some issues. I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I know what it was. I know what was wrong with it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to fix it. So anyway, I luckily was given a name of a guy, and thankfully he called back.
We'll see if it works out.
Yeah.
It's one more of those things that's going to help us untether from the homestead.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. So what else we got going on around here other than just making forward progress, I think, every day. One other thing I did just yesterday, actually, is I was taking some inventory of my ammo. I think that's another thing that I just want to make sure you're on top of. Ammo is not that expensive right now. I mean, it kind of got up there kind of crazy for a while when we had ammo shortages and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the 9mm and just your common rounds they're not out of control. I mean, they're not cheap like they used to be, but nothing's cheap like it used to be. You're not going to find at least around here, you're not going to find a box for under $10. That's just not happening. But it's running, 9mm.
I didn't know if that was yours or mine. I was just going to turn the volume down.
Yeah, it's probably mine. 9mm FMJ is probably running 15 or less, 15, 13, something like that. So that's not too bad compared to where it had been. But I wound up buying a bunch of shotgun shells. Primarily the ones that not like defensive stuff, not anything that, because I don't really go through that stuff, but what I go through quite a bit is, it's just like target load. And so I bought a bunch of that yesterday because I use it around here, shooting varmints and things like that. In fact, I had to tune up a couple of birds that were making a nest on the south side of the house. I had some swallows that showed up, and they're not making a nest over there anymore, let's just say. Uncle Remington strikes again. But
I sleep with one eye open.
No, you just don't be making a nest on the side of the house. You'll be fine. But I don't know. This conflict, man, it's a crazy thing. And I guess what I've been thinking about is I don't know if we're going to get out of this year unscathed. I just have that feeling. And I don't like to have a feeling of like doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's just, there's something about this year that just feels like we're coming to a crescendo of something, right? With everything that's been going on, with all the deception and just the tumultuous nature of the political establishment, the lies, the deceit, the conflict. And I just feel like there's going to be something really, really big happening this year before the end of the year. I mean, obviously we've got the midterms coming up. And so a lot of times in an election year, they'll do something in order to drum up support for whatever it is that they're trying to push through.
Yeah.
And, I really feel kind of that way with this war right now, to be honest. I mean, now that we're in it, and it doesn't really seem to be going well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, Trump and the administration, and
would tell you differently.
Yeah, he's going to be saying, "Oh, we're winning. The war's over. We're killing them." But they're still fighting back. And yeah, we have superior firepower. We have, aerial and naval dominance. They can't really match our ability to do that. We've got nuclear weapons and all of that shit. But that's really not what this war kind of is about. It's not going to look good if we go in and we just like slaughter a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this is going to go. Are we going to be putting more people in harm's way? I mean, it seems like there's an escalation from week to week. Like, oh, now we're putting in another battalion of Marines are heading over there and another aircraft carrier. And if the war was fucking won and it was over, then there'd be some...
Why are you sending stuff back, or why are you sending stuff over there if it's over?
Yeah, there would be some resolution. There would be an agreement. There would be a ceasefire. There would be some kind of a thing, but there's not that. And obviously we've been drug into this war. By all indications, it's for the state of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it has a lot of public support, let's just say. I haven't taken a poll, but I know that there's a lot of people that are opposed to it. But there's also a lot of people that are probably plenty okay with it. And that's, I suppose, their choice. I don't know. I don't know why they would be so in favor of us doing something over there for something that has been going on for 47 years that we've lived with, and it's not really a problem. But
I find it interesting with anything where, well, I'll use Ukraine, where people jumped on the board and they were all in support for Ukraine. And I'm not sure why our country gets so tied up in another country instead of taking care of their own country, I guess is my point.
I know you say that every
I know, but yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. We have so many of our own problems.
Yes, we do. I mean, the one thing that is evident, and if you're paying a little bit of attention to it, what you'll notice is that both sides are generally in favor of war. Mm-hmm. Democrats are all about it. Now, there are some Democrats now that are out there chirping, saying, "Oh, Trump did this and he's fucking it up and whatever," right? But that's a political move for the most part. Mm-hmm. Most of the Democrat Party is in support of this action. Chuck Schumer, he's in favor of it, even though he'll sit up there and talk shit because the election's coming up, but he didn't vote against this. You got to look at what their vote was and what they support. So both sides have been corrupted by a foreign influence, by a foreign power. And unfortunately, I think we have foreign agents, foreign spies working. Well, they're not even really they're not hiding it. Mm-hmm. They're coming out saying as much that their allegiance lies with Israel. Mm-hmm. And that's just an interesting thing to me when you think about it. Why is that, do you think? Why do you think that this country is so infiltrated with that type of messaging? And then anybody that speaks out against it, obviously Tucker Carlson's going through it right now because he's over the target, just like Charlie Kirk was over the target before he got a bullet in the neck. So the latest with Tucker is that, they've spied on him yet again, I guess, and they're somehow thinking of maybe bringing him up on some kind of charges for being a foreign agent because he talked or he texted with somebody from Iran or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it has to do with finances.
That's your only thought?
Well, obviously, I haven't followed it quite as closely as you have. And I think that Israel has a hold on us. And
why do you think that?
And I don't know what it is, but I would say even so in Trump, I think that the very beginning when he went in, he still somewhat was holding his message and was somewhat on track. And then all of a sudden there was a complete turnaround. So they either got information about him that they can hold over his head and say, you're going to do it this way, or we're going to smear you with that, or but it also could be that was his message all along. He sold us a bill of goods. And
you think Trump is a Trojan horse? Possibly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I can't dispute that. I can't say that he wasn't, because I don't know what he is right now. I mean, how can I say that I know what Trump is when he'll fucking say anything to anyone
says something different every time you listen to him.
For his own gain. Right. And as I've said for a while, it's just there's been things that have bothered me from the start with him attacking Thomas Massie. I said that back in last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how are you going to go after this guy? This guy is an actual conservative. This guy is an actual fucking genius that has multiple degrees from MIT and other institutions. He's a genius. He built his house out of fucking, his own stuff. He milled his own lumber. He brought up rocks from the creek, the stones that he's got in his home. He built that with his own hands.
Mm-hmm.
He's devised like really cool shit for his chickens, and it's all automated. And, he's that kind of guy. And then you got Trump, who's shit talking the guy. And that just doesn't sit well with me. It's like, how are you going to attack that guy, dude? If there's anybody that's America first, it's that guy.
Mm-hmm. And but do you think he's doing that on his own, or do you think that he's being told to do that?
I think there's both. I mean, I think both things can be true. Maybe he feels that way to some extent because he used to be a liberal. Mm-hmm. He's going to say whatever the fuck he can say in order to get what he needs to get. That's how Trump is. He's not a man of principle. He's not. He's very unprincipled.
Mm-hmm.
He'll lie to your face. Oh, you're the best person ever. Oh, he's amazing. This guy right here, he's amazing. And then you say you don't go with what Trump wants. No, he's fucking low IQ piece of shit. In the same breath, he'll shit on you like that.
Yeah.
And so I just think that people like that, I can't trust them. And this is a guy that I thought had our interest in mind, but clearly he doesn't. He has the donor class in mind. And I would encourage anybody to go and just do this. Go and ask your large language model of choice, whether that's ChatGPT or Grok or whatever it happens to be, and type in the prompt and ask within the big, beautiful bill that they passed, who benefits more? Is it the upper echelon? Is it the top earners? Or is it the middle and lower class that benefit more as it relates to tax things that were supposed to be done, right? No tax on tips, no social tax on social, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ask it that question and see what you get back. And that'll tell you right there where his alliance is, where his allegiance is. That's his signature accomplishment. That's what that fucking guy has done since we gave him the House, the Senate, and the presidency. That's what he's gotten done. Closing down the border, that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck else has he done? I don't see a lot that's really that great. Maybe Venezuela will turn out fantastic. Maybe that'll be like a really good thing now that we've got Venezuela in our hip pocket. I don't like the way it was done. I'll say that. I don't think we should be going around the world snatching fucking dudes out of their their compounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's their shit. You come over the border, now you got a problem. We got Marines that'll handle that. We got problems in our inner city, for Christ's sake. Oh, and by the way, Christ is king. If you haven't heard, that's something you shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? That's the new hate speech, according to Ted Cruz. Old Jerusalem Ted.
No, well, that's why he's there. That's why he wanted to go into the position he's in. It's for Israel.
Yeah. You know, I'm grateful that there are people that are speaking up right now. One of those people, you know, one of the biggest podcasts that's out there is Joe Rogan, and Joe hasn't really been saying a whole lot. That's his choice. I'm not saying that. Oh, you should speak out. Whatever. It's his fucking podcast. He can say what he wants on his show. I'm not telling him what to say. But I do find it refreshing when people are willing to put themselves out there, because you know what? We don't have, I don't think, that long to go before we don't have free speech. That sounds like a stretch. Sounds very Orwellian for you to say that. But look at where we are today. We have the Trump administration is trying to suppress people's speech and the things that they can say. Right? Remember Carrie Prejean getting kicked off the religious liberty thing. Tucker just did released a thing with her, and it was a very good listen, but it's eye-opener. It's absolute eye-opener just to see that that's what's happening to people who supposedly have religious liberty. And she was targeted because she was speaking out against the genocide in Gaza. And make no mistake about it, that's what it is. If that was happening in Israel, I would say it's a genocide. If that was happening here, or if that was happening in fucking Rwanda or Canada, I would say that that's a genocide. You don't kill innocent people that are not combatants. But yet that's what she was tweeting about and putting on her Instagram post. And people from that commission, at the direction of the president, they cut her loose. They said, we got to let you go. Sorry, you can't be saying these things.
I don't know initially if it was from the president, but eventually it did come from the president. On the
first time, he had her back. He said, hey, I took care of that thing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I took care of it. But as she persisted, he wasn't picking up the phone. Right? That's somebody that she had a relationship with for more than 20 years. He's the person that put her on that, but yet he wasn't man enough to say, yeah, Carrie, I got to let you go. He had other people do that, and he wouldn't pick up the fucking phone. So that's just the way the nature of politics is going. But it's also kind of, it's a problem when people can't speak their mind. I'm going to speak my mind. I don't give a fuck. Take me off this damn platform. I could give two shits. Right? And you better not knock on my fucking door. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
You know I'm not kidding, right?
No, I know you're not kidding.
Yeah. So this is Teal Vaughn, and I respect the fact that he came out on his platform and just said what he felt, because this is kind of how I think a lot of people feel.
Understand it. You know, it feels like there's this war machine, and then our soldiers are put into these spaces, and they're just there to serve an America that they believe in. And it's no knock against them or anything like that. It's just, it just feels like it's causing a lot of pain and fear. And yeah, I don't understand I don't understand Trump's relationship. I don't understand our political, like, why we are so beholden to this government, this Israeli government that just seems to be obsessed with control. And it feels like bloodlust, like they just like, it's not enough. Like after what happened in Gaza, I don't see how there could be any other view. But if someone else has a different one, that's okay. That's their point of view. I'm just happy to be able to speak up for myself, even if I'm wrong. Even if I'm wrong, there's a part of me that, even though I feel scared sometimes, that I'm happy to be able to speak up for myself and say that, because having a voice has always been important to me, and I'm sure it is to a lot of people. And they're making laws now. There are bills being presented where we won't even have a chance to have a voice at some point. There's surveillance infrastructure that's being put into place. There's a lot of things happening right now. And some people are like, well, it's too much for me to get involved in. I understand that. But yeah, I believe that if we don't speak up now, and it may already be too late, but if we don't speak up now, that one day our kids will not be able to. And it's disappointing to me too that a lot of our religious leaders haven't said anything. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. But there's a lot of stuff I don't understand.
So yeah, I think the sentiment that he just expressed there, I think is kind of the sentiment that I share with him. It's just kind of almost a bewilderment. I'm kind of bewildered as to what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. We can see and we know that there's a global conflict going on. It's affecting all nations around the world. And, you just wonder where it's going to go. Where
it's even happening. It doesn't seem like it's even necessary.
Well, there hasn't really been a coherent message that's been put forth from the administration at the start. If they had to come to the American people and said, hey, this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing, and this is the reason why it's important that we do these things, that would be a little bit, easier to swallow. But mm-hmm. it's almost like they just don't give a fuck. They're just going to we're just going to go down here in Venezuela and, hey, fucking Greenland, you're next. Canada, hey, fuck you, Canada, right? 51st state, you fucking piece of shit, right? Mm-hmm. That's the attitude that we're putting out to other people. And if you support that, I suppose you're right to support it, but I don't support that. I don't find it that's a very good way to go about diplomacy. It's weird because Trump said all of these things himself. Oh, Obama doesn't know how to fucking negotiate. He's going to get us into a war with Iran. This is a disaster and all this other shit that he said. And it was like, okay, yeah, that made sense, dude. We're on board. That's why we voted for you, asshole. Because you were supposed to do a lot of the things that you said. And now you're doing every fucking thing that's the opposite. Hanging out with Lindsey Graham, that scumbag piece of shit. That, see, here's the thing about Trump. I'll say this right now. I don't think he understands the fact that he's disposable. He's absolutely fucking disposable. Mm-hmm. He's every bit as disposable as Charlie Kirk. And you know what? At some point, he's going to become super toxic, and they're going to walk away from him. Either they're going to step back politically and distance themselves from policies and things that Trump has said, because they have a career to look after. They have aspirations of higher office, right? Marco Rubio and JD Vance and Tulsi Gabbard and anybody else that's laying in the wings politically. They're not going to position themselves behind this guy. So he's already very toxic with the way that he's conducted himself. But the problem with Trump, this is his downfall, is that all you have to do is kiss his ass and tell him he's the best fucking thing since sliced bread, and he'll embrace you. Because that's what he really wants. He wants to be stroked. Mm-hmm. He loves being stroked. And so you see Lindsey Graham, this is the best American president ever, better than Ronald Reagan. And Trump is just like, his dick gets hard when he hears that. He's like, oh, this is fucking great, man. And he's starting to believe it himself, right? And the thing about it is so the beautiful thing for him is he's got Fox News on board with the neocon agenda, right? They're all in, just like they were when George Bush was dropping bombs. They're fucking, their dicks are hard over at Fox News. And so it's like this dance. That's why you see Pete Hegseth on there every day. That's why you see all of the administration staff showing up on Fox News daily. Because I told you, it was propaganda, right? That's all that it is. It's to shape your mind to say, look how great we're doing, when we're actually fucking things up royally, more than likely. Right?
Yes.
Because
but I think that you're not getting the truth on either end. So we're
point taken.
Somewhere in the middle.
Point taken. But here's where I'll disagree with you, because when they're actually like journalistic, sensible questions, asking things that they have basically said and they can't really back up, all they have to do, all that Caitlin Collins from CNN has to do is ask Trump like just an average fucking question, like, and not even make shit up, and it makes him look bad. That's how it is right now. All the left wing has to do is tell the truth, and it makes Trump look bad. Whereas before, they were going out of their way to make shit up on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They were making the shit up, and oh, he did this and he did that, right? And Trump's like, no, I'm saying this. And now, since Trump's flipped, he's part of the uniparty. He's flipped. All they have to do is just like call us bullshit. Hey, everybody except nobody in your administration is saying anything about like that was like anything other than maybe the United States. You're the only one saying Iran did this. And then Trump's like, I guess I'll have to like see what the investigation says. All they have to do is ask like legitimate questions, and it makes the administration look bad because the administration's fucking up so horribly.
I don't disagree with you.
That's just my take on it.
Yes, and I would agree. The midterms are going to be something to see.
Right.
Not going to go.
No, it's going to be a disaster for the Republicans, I guarantee you, unless there's massive cheating, which there's cheating, I think, always. Generally speaking, it's probably more widely, done on the Republicans, or excuse me, on the Democrat side. Because I don't think the Democrats' core message resonates with middle America, with the average person. They want sensible governments. They want sensible governance. And they were so fucking far out there on this woke bullshit, saying that kids should be castrated and, just weird shit, right? Mm-hmm. Most people don't want that. It's just a very small percentage, but they were pushing it on everybody. And that's what caused people to reject the party,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Going back to your point, Rebecca, and you always say, well, we've got all of our problems here and we should just focus on our problems. And I agree with that. I think that's self-evident really to anyone.
Well, I mean,
does that not make
I say it every time. How do you help anybody else or help improve anybody else if you can't improve your own state? You can't effectively do that when you're in a state that's messed up.
Yeah. So check this out.
America's controlled by Israel. I'm rooting for America. But right now, Iran is fighting for America more than America's fighting for America. America's fighting for Israel. Iran is fighting for Iran. But by fighting against Israel, Iran is indirectly fighting for us. So I pray for the martyrs. I pray for the martyrs in Iran. I pray for their martyred Ayatollah. I pray for their martyred IRGC, because they're fighting the war that we are not, that we will not. Who are we fighting this war for? They're not even hiding it. We're fighting it for Israel. I don't blame Iran. I don't blame them even a little bit. Obviously, I pray for the dead Americans that have been killed by this, but who is responsible for the dead Americans? It is the decision makers that betrayed us to a foreign nation and sent American citizens to fight and die, to kill and be killed on behalf of a foreign nation. That's who bears the responsibility. Who launched a war that we knew we couldn't finish, that we knew would bear casualties, that has no tangible, conceivable benefit for Americans? It was President Trump on behalf of Israel. I don't blame Iran. I don't hold Iran responsible. Iran is not my enemy. I don't want to fight Iran. I don't want to die in Iran. You say Iran is our enemy. Why? They have a different religion? Why is Iran my enemy? Because they oppress their own people? I don't live in Iran. I'm not an Iranian. That's their problem. They're not my problem. They're not killing me. I have a greater risk of dying on the highway because an Indian has a CDL. I have a greater risk of dying because a black person's driving on the shoulder and cops can't chase them anymore. I'm at greater risk of dying on American public transit than I am because the Iranians went to war with me. We have real problems in this country, real problems that our leadership won't solve. Instead, they send our soldiers not to protect our border, not to protect Americans in our own cities, not to ensure peace on our public transit or public square, but to go and fight Israel's adversaries so they can have as much power and wealth as is literally possible and conceivable for them to have. So who's responsible? Who is the enemy? The enemy is within. And the enemy are the people that have hijacked our government and sending Americans to kill and be killed on behalf of their country. That's the enemy.
Yeah, I don't fucking disagree.
I don't disagree either.
We do have an enemy within. Ted Cruz. What's that about? What is that even about? Where he's talking about his alliance and his allegiance is to Israel. What is that about?
I have no idea. It makes no sense to me. He shouldn't be in our government. He should pack his bags and move to Israel and live in that country and be part of their...
Well, people should vote him out. That's what I say. Is he that powerful that people in Texas can't get rid of that fucking dude? What about Lindsey Graham? Do people really love Lindsey Graham in South Carolina? Are you pumped, South Carolina? That's your senator? Dragging us off into every goddamn war? That's what's up, South Carolina? You don't have power to get this dude out? You can't find a good candidate that represents you in that state? Maybe not, I guess, right? Is that what we're dealing with? It's like I don't even know what to say. This is the guy. This is the guy.
Say that some here, not everyone, but some here, most of us, are so consumed with hate. That you cannot address the reason. I will say this. You speak for yourself. If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews, no, then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you. I will say this.
That was in Texas. And I guess he was speaking to a group of people that you heard him, that if you will not stand with Israel, if you will not stand with the Jews, I will not stand with you. What is that about? Well, I mean, I get it. Israel has a right to exist, but I don't hear that about other countries. I don't hear fucking people up in Canada saying, oh, well, Canada has a right to exist. I get it, man. They had a Holocaust. 6 million Jews or whatever, but there's been a lot of fucking Holocausts. There's been a lot of people that have been persecuted.
There's been a lot of bad stuff that's happened to a lot of different.
Right. But doesn't everybody have a right to exist? That's almost like the Black Lives Matter movement, where you couldn't even say all lives matter, because all lives do matter. Mm-hmm. If you're a fucking sane individual, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not some psychopathic person with hate in your heart that wants to see others harmed in favor of your breed, your genetics, It's just a weird thing. Somehow they're the special chosen people that has a right to exist, but nobody else fucking does.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah. So,
Say this, I accept.
So Tel Aviv Ted is going viral again because he said we need to be careful using the term Christ is king because it's anti-Semitic. And remember, this is the same person who told Tucker just a little bit ago that years ago why he got into the Senate, sole purpose why he got into the Senate was to defend Israel.
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew. It is being used in a context very directly to say, I hate Jews, and that's almost an online code word. Christ is king is, I hate the Jews.
Is that your view, or why do you say that?
Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews are horrible, good, like they're attacking Jews, and they end with Christ is king to make it sound like somehow there's a biblical basis for attacking Jews. Look, Jesus was a Jew. And by the way, the twisted theology that says Jews are Christ killers, and that's been used to justify anti-Semitism, to justify persecution and murder. Look, as I read the Gospels, Jesus went to the cross willingly. He made the choice to go to the cross, and it was not the Jews who killed Jesus. It was me. It was you. Look, Jesus died for our sins because man is fallen and the wages of sin is death. And Jesus took on the punishment that you deserve and I deserve so that we could be covered in his blood and receive salvation, not through works, not through what we do, but through the gift of God.
all right, shut up,
So
Ted.
you're right, Ted. You did.
So that sounds good, Ted, but I haven't heard him denounce what's happening over in Gaza. There's innocent people being killed. There's innocent people right now being killed in Lebanon. There's innocent people being killed right now in Iran. In the name of what? Now, if they're an enemy combatant, I guess that's fair game. But that's not really what's happening. In every war, there's collateral damage. And, it's pretty well reported that Israel kind of has a tendency to just go in and do shit and say something else. He doesn't seem to want to denounce all that, but he wants to give you a fucking history lesson on Jesus in the Bible. You know what I say to that? Christ is king. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't fucking tell me what I can't say. And if you want to think that's a code word, take it for what it is. Christ is king. Hope that doesn't harm your sensibilities. Because you know what? I'm an American and I supposedly have a right to my opinion and my speech. And if you want to say that I'm targeting a particular group, fucking you have that right to say that. But you don't get the right to violate my rights. Christ is king.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you should have your own thoughts, and you should be able to believe in what it is that you want to believe in.
Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit.
And not get condemned for what you want to believe and be forced to believe what somebody else believes, even though it's not your belief.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit irritated just in the fact that we don't even have leaders in our government that are willing to stand up and say what I think most Americans would expect them to say.
Mm-hmm.
You've got guys, I've seen a bunch of videos where dudes are like in the halls of Congress, in the back halls where these people are going from office to office or whatever. And some dude will come up and stick a microphone in the dude's face, this senator or congressman, and they'll say, America first or Israel first? And most of them won't even say. Occasionally you'll get a guy that'll say, yeah, America first, dude. What's up? Hell yeah. Right? That's what I'm representing. But the majority, I mean, like the vast majority of people, they're sticking microphones in their faces. They won't even acknowledge where their allegiance is. And so do we have an enemy within?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. How do we deal with that?
That's a good question.
Is there anything that we can do to deal with it? I know that, like, I think obviously, I've heard Nick Fuentes talking about he's voting Democrat or whatever in this next election because he wants to sway the balance of power, which I fully agree with, in the sense that we need to have a divided government. But I'm not willing to fucking vote for a Democrat. If they have sensible policies, I might consider it. But I also know that we're dealing with a uniparty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that actually the strongest way for us to actually slow down government is to just make sure that the government remains divided. So don't give the president the House and the Senate. We need a divided government, because you know what happened last time we gave the Republicans the reins? Remember after Obama? Obama fucking did everything he did with ramming down the healthcare plan, the Obamacare. You have to pass the bill before you can find out what's in it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Right. And that was the rise of the Tea Party. People were out there protesting. And then, of course, you had the rhinos, John McCain and fucking, Mitch McConnell, and all the establishment was against the Tea Party. That was interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Why would they be against people who are like saying, hey, let's follow the Constitution, guys? That was the first signal and sign that we should all picked up on. And then we all kind of mobilized and we gave these fuckers power. We showed up in numbers and we voted him in. We got Trump in, and he had the House and the Senate, and they were going to roll back Obamacare. Remember that? And what did they do? They didn't do a fucking thing with that power. They didn't do what we asked them to do. They didn't take what we gave them in a mandate to do. They did everything but. They just, we're not going to touch that. Let's go over here and like shuffle some bullshit around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so now Trump gets House and the Senate. What's he do? He gives fucking corporate tax cuts to people and cuts Medicare. Right? He gives a bunch of tax cuts to his buddies and all that bullshit. And what do we get out of the deal? Do we get any deep state arrests? Do we get any, mass deportations? Do we get drain the swamp? Do we get release the files? No, we don't get any of that shit. What we get is a bunch of new wars and a bunch of neocon bullshit. And look who he's arm in arm with.
Yeah, we get the opposite of what he campaigned on.
He's taking a shit on Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, people who actually have principles. And the rest of them that are in there, like Jim Jordan, who I used to think, he's in the Freedom Caucus. He's a good guy. That fucking guy is a piece of shit. Look what he's supporting right now. He's right in line with them. I don't know what kind of money he's taking from AIPAC, if he's taking any, but do your research. When these dudes are doing something, see if they've received any money from the Israel lobby.
More than likely, yes.
A lot of them have. And so do we have an enemy within? Maybe so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. I don't really like to see what they're doing with my boy, Tucker. Tucker is, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. He has his motivations. There's things I could probably pick apart with that I'm not like completely on board with, but by and large, he's a voice for the people more so than a voice for the establishment. The one thing that I will say is that I heard him and Megyn Kelly doing a little talk, and the thing that was striking to me is that they both said unequivocally that when they were at Fox News, that was their job, is to carry water for the neocons, is to promote the wars, to read the teleprompter and to say the things that the administration was pushing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was kind of their job. And getting out from underneath that was very liberating for them. And they've got their agenda and they've got their motivations, but it really does tell you that Tucker's close to being right over the target with the amount of heat that he's taking right now. And I honestly, I hope nothing happens to him, because I don't put anything past these guys. I don't actually put anything past them doing something to our president. Because as I said earlier, Trump is disposable.
Yes.
And I know that it would certainly, here's just a scenario that you might consider.
Well, I would say that the people who are surrounding him, whom he's embracing, do not care for him as much as he thinks they care for him.
That's 100% true. He only sees the circle that's surrounding him right now, just cheering him on. That's all he's really hearing. He's hearing the chatter. He's seeing the shit online, but he's being told, don't worry about them. They're doomers, right? Just like Dan Bongino. Oh, he's my president. He fucking tweets that every day like a retard. You know, he's just a water carrier. He's not a fucking journalist or even a really valuable opinion out there. He's just carrying water for the administration. It's clear. But I think that Trump is actually, he's at risk every bit as much as Tucker is, because he's disposable.
Yeah.
He's absolutely disposable, because again, they're going to walk away from him when he's a lame duck. He's somebody who, you know, public opinion is like, hey, this dude's fucked up. Right.
Well, just like in his first term where everyone turned their backs on him, they'll do it again.
Yeah. They all did that when it was clear that, oh, this is a January 6th insurrection. They all walked away from him that night. Right. And then they held to that. No, he doesn't need to come back. But then he gained some like wheels again with public support. He came back with great promises of the golden age of America. And they will walk away from him. I guarantee you. They will walk away from him when he becomes a lame duck, or what's actually a distinct possibility. I haven't heard anybody say this, and maybe I shouldn't even say it, but I've been thinking about it because they've already tried to kill him once.
Maybe,
allegedly, right? Somebody tried to kill him. Now, are we going to believe that was the guy, or is there something more to that? We have to question everything in this age of deep fakes. I'm not saying this is a deep fake. I'm just saying that we have to question everything, particularly since we know that our government has lied to us for fucking decades about a myriad of different things. Some of it's true. Some of it's bullshit. And it's up to you to figure out which is true and which is bullshit. Some of it is very consequential. Some of it is like, oh, that's an easy one. I'll give you a layup. There's the truth. But then the stuff that they need to cover up, like, oh, what's all this black shit redacted for on the Epstein files? What's that about? Oh, we need to protect sources and methods. No, you're protecting pedophiles and you're covering it up and you're not doing fucking shit with it. And now you're out there threatening Tucker Carlson like he's the worst thing ever. But getting back to my point. Sorry, I digress. I got sidetracked. No, Trump is actually a fucking a target, because let me tell you something. As much as he's standing there with Bibi arm in arm, oh, Bibi, you're the best president that best American president Israel's ever had. That's only because he's fucking a puppet and doing what no other president would do. Not even fucking Sleepy Joe Biden fucking bit that one. Biden was like, yeah, no, fuck you, dude. I'm not doing that shit. You guys are committing genocide. But my point is that what's to say they go, oh, we really need a ground war in the United States. So we can whack Trump. And then you know what? We'll blame it on Iran. What would that do to public sentiment? Do you think that people would be like, fuck those guys, let's go get them, they just killed our guy? There would be a much greater enthusiasm for putting boots on the ground and going in there and fucking like just handling business like we could do, smashing some shit, right? It's not going to look right now if we smash shit because we're the ones that started it. They weren't attacking us. We attacked them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look good that we're just going to roll in there with like tanks and shit and just start tearing it up. But if they take out our guy and then we blame it on them, and then you know what also that does? That frees it up for Vance because now Vance is the president. And he doesn't have to run against a fucking like, oh, well, you know, I was supporting this war. No, you're already the president, dude.
Yeah.
It changes public opinion. So like I'm saying, there's a couple of different ways they can play this one out, but Trump is just a pawn. Make no mistake about it. He thinks he's the fucking president, but he's not really the president. He's just got all these people, Lindsey Graham and all the handlers that are just kind of out on the periphery, like steering him in this direction. Oh, good job, Mr. President. You're doing fantastic. We love you. And Trump's just sitting there just like with a boner. He's like, oh, this is great, dude. I haven't had people like doing this since my last rally in Missouri. But you know what? Those rallies in Missouri, they're not going to be grassroots anymore. Because you shit on those people, Mr. President. They're not going to be grassroots. They're not going to show up in mass numbers like they did before. That was actually real. Trump's rallies were fucking real. People would drive for hours to go see Trump and stand in line. And now they gotta bus people in, and then like it's all staged. It's just stagecraft. It's so crazy to watch. I'm just like going, oh, this is like Orwellian shit, man. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Rebecca?
At some point, it's going to be a huge burst to his ego.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a burst at Trump's ego because Trump has, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope for the best, right? I hope that things move in a better direction for our country. That's what we all hope. We all just want to have, you know, our space and a happy life and friends and family and do what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
But we don't want to know that we live in a system that's fake. And it really feels like the system that we're living under in the United States of America is fucking completely fake. We are expected to pay money. Oh, it's tax season. So go pay your taxes, tax cattle. And you pay your money and you expect that they're going to do like infrastructure and roads and bridges and fucking, you know, hospitals and healthcare and just, you know, take care of the people, clean up our cities. But what are they doing? They're fucking pissing away our money by giving it to all these different nations.
Yeah.
So that they can have, what do we get out of that? It just seems so fake. And then we're getting propagandized like, oh, it's time to vote. Let's vote for JD. Let's get behind this candidate. And they get up there and they got their podium and they got their little crowd of people. That's all fucking fake and staged. And everybody's clapping, wearing their fucking hats with their stupid banners. It's like a carnival.
Well, they're getting paid to do that, but yes.
Maybe, or
Some
maybe
of
not.
them.
I mean, I imagine some people that go to see like Trump, they can just like, hey, dumbass, hey, over there at the Waffle House, come here. You want to go to this thing? Oh yeah, sure. Get on this fucking bus and oh yeah, cool. Yeah, why not, man? You going to see the president? That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be something to talk about. You don't have to pay me to do that.
I'm sure there's some you'd have to pay.
I don't know if at this point I'd want to go see him. I'd fucking want to like not go see him because I'm not happy with the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't respect that. I would give him an F at this point. We've been grading Trump since since we started this.
Yes.
Like this new term.
And he did start at an A, but he's definitely failed.
I wish that wasn't the case, man, because you know what? When Trump fails, we all fail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about rooting for the team other than to say that the United States team, I don't give a fuck about the Republicans or the Democrats. I'm not either of those assholes.
It would be nice to think that he could pull himself up by the bootstraps and decide that he's going to tell the truth, but it might be too late in the game.
You know, I'm not nearly as a gifted a wordsmith as Tucker, and just listen to what he had to say when he was talking with old Piers Morgan. I think Tucker's pretty good at getting his point across, and he does it in such a way that seems to make sense to me. I know some people just have Tucker derangement syndrome because of what they've been told about him or whatever. Maybe they don't like him for his positions. I don't know, but I think he's a pretty sensible guy, and I tend to respect people who are willing to speak out when it may not be popular, and it may cause some people to be butthurt. But I'm an opinionated person, and I think that it's. Is this a revelation to you? So I'm somewhat opinionated, but no, I'm getting fired up because I mean, it's our right, is it not? Do we not have at least that? We can vote, and that doesn't mean shit, right? Mm-hmm. But at least I can have my thoughts and my speech. Yeah, again, they're gonna fucking nuke me off this platform at some point. But what do I care?
You could still have your thoughts. They just might have to be just roaming around up in your head.
Yeah. See, you can go sit in a closet and say a bunch of racist bullshit and nobody's going to know about it. And it's cool. You can do that. You can do that. Totally. But anyhow, here's Tuck.
The only people who support this war are those born between 1946 and 1964 who watch a lot of Fox News. That's it. I'm not attacking them. By the way, they're Americans. They're my equals as Americans. I love a lot of them, but their perspective on the U.S. and the world is very different from everyone else's. Very, very different. And so they're not the ones who got Donald Trump elected, actually. The people who got Donald Trump elected are the people who hadn't voted for Republicans before or even voted at all before. And they're like Joe Rogan listeners, or people who use nicotine pouches. They're Hispanic voters. They're young black men. They're non-traditional Republican voters who voted for Trump because he promised not to keep doing the same thing. And one of the things he promised not to do again was to hand operational authority over to Benjamin Netanyahu, as other presidents have. We don't want any more of that. Why would we? And we're not going to make Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro, who have almost no organic support in the media world. Like, no one really watches them. We're not going to hand control of our foreign policy over to people like that who don't know anything and who don't have America's interests at heart or even in mind. So breaking faith with those people, those voters, the ones who actually got Trump elected and whose coalition promised a new day in American politics, that's a big deal. It's a betrayal on the level that I don't think people who aren't in those groups can understand. Like, this is heartbreaking. And by the way, a lot of those people really like Trump. They like his style. They think he's hilarious. He's brave. You know, he's just like, they like him. And to see this is, it's so wounding. It hurts. I've got a bunch who work for me. I'm related to some, they're all Trump voters. And I talked to them in the last 24 hours. Boy, they're upset. They're not just mad. Like, I hate Israel. That's not the impulse. They're definitely starting to hate Israel. Why wouldn't they? Our relationship with Israel is hurting us gravely. It's getting Americans killed. So they're mad, but it's more than mad. I can't believe he did this to us. I feel just so depressed about it.
Yeah. I can only assume that a lot of people feel that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people that are probably completely all about what's happening for whatever reasons they're excited about it. I don't know what those might be, particularly if you are somebody who voted for Trump, because there's just been promise after promise. It's just been like we've been let down. And it's happened so fucking quick.
Yes.
It's happened like inside of a year. It's like, dude, you had the wind at your back. And then now you just completely shit the bed and exposed yourself for really what you are, which is not principled.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, level of grandiose storytelling that Trump engages in is something we've all, again, come to expect with Trump. But I'm almost like, the more I see and like the things that he tweets and the statements that he says, it's almost like he's fucking kind of incoherent. And I'm wondering if he's like losing it a bit, right? He was, and if you see that dude when he was a youngster, a young man, he was sharp.
Yes.
He was very poised and he was very sharp.
He was like his children.
Yeah, he was like kind of like Barron, you know, just real serious and just like, you know, like, well, this dude's got his shit together. And now he's like fucking off the rails, man. It's an interesting deal for me. So I don't know. I wanted to see if I could dig up one more post here. Hold on a second. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. This is old Sleepy Joe. And this is what Sleepy Joe had to say. And I'm not saying that Sleepy Joe was a good president. He was a fucking terrible president. He was horrible. But, you know, one thing he didn't do is he didn't get us into a fucking war with Iran. That's like out over your skis, bro. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Biden was a terrible fucking president. Let's get that straight. I'm not saying he's great either, but at least he had the sense to like say this.
Or his handlers had the sense.
Well, this is what he said.
Or coached him to say.
And he said, I said, but baby, I said, you can't be carpet bombing these communities. And he said to me, well, you did it. You carpet bomb, not his exact words, but you carpet bomb Berlin. You dropped a nuclear weapon. You killed thousands of innocent people because you had to in order to win a war. But that's why we came up with the UN. No deals by which what would we do relative to civilians and military.
So he was comparing 21st century war tactics, battle tactics, with World War II.
Well, what he was really doing is he was going after me for saying you can't indiscriminately bomb civilian areas. Even if the bad guys are there. Even if the bad guys are there, you can't take out 2, 10, 12, 1,500 people, innocent people, in order to get the one bad guy.
So, you know, he's having this argument and debate with Netanyahu over, oh, you can't bomb innocent people. Fucking Bibi's like, yeah, fuck. Well, what are you talking about? Like, of course we can, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's essentially what he's having the argument about. But it is interesting because there's clips of just about every president talking about the relationship with Israel and the need to rein them in and the need to rein in the deep state, essentially the intelligence agencies, because they're going to be the ones wanting to push you into these types of conflicts. And so that's the executive's job. That's the president's job, is to put the reins on that and to be the moderator, to slow that down. But they're always going to want war. They're always going to want to exercise their authority. And unfortunately, Trump seemingly, you know, he was a willing recipient of that message. And, you know, what was it? Was it because, as you said, he was always that way? Or was it because they had something on him? I think that there could be some of both in that. I definitely think there's something in the Epstein files.
Oh, I definitely think they have something on him.
Oh, for sure. That they're hiding. In fact, in between this episode and our last episode, just shortly after we did our last episode, they came out with some documents that was released from the FBI. Nobody's really talking about it because the fucking war's going on. Mm-hmm. But there's documents in there indicating the FBI interviewed a girl who was, what was it, 13?
13 to 15, I believe they said. 13
to 15 years old or whatever. And she had basically indicated that she was in the presence of Epstein and Trump, and, you know, there was sexual allegations, in other words. Mm-hmm. But, you know, so there's plenty in there that it's blacked out that I'm sure that would be incriminating. And yeah, it's just crazy. There's so much to go after in this country as far as criminality, and they're really not exercising their due diligence, in other words. Mm-hmm. But
I would agree.
Yeah. But anywho, what do you think, Rebecca? Should we wrap it up here before I get more?
I think we should, because it is like past my bedtime.
Oh, it's 8:30. That's past your bedtime.
I know. I'm going to be turning into a witch.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you know that the Dow is over 50,000? Have you heard? Oh, shit. I'm having fun with this one. But hey, you got to see this, guys.
I've seen this so many times because he loves this one.
Oh, can't get enough of Pam Bondi.
Trump, have you apologized to President Trump? All of you. I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You apologize.
Okay, I think we should probably wrap it up there. I mean, what more can we say? I mean, the Dow, it's over 50,000.
So the Dow.
We are in the golden age of America, and we are going to continue to speak our minds here, because you know why? We still have that.
We can.
Yeah, we still have the ability to do this. We probably won't at some point. Maybe I'll have the fucking intel agencies like knocking on my door. I've always wanted to meet Tulsi Gabbard. I think she's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that little silver in her hair. It's cool.
That's what I was wondering. If that's what was doing it for you.
It's that Cruella look. But anywho, I think we'll wrap it up there, Rebecca. It's been a lively discussion. I've been doing most of the discussioning, but I've got a lot on my mind with this war, and I really do hope things resolve soon, but it doesn't really appear that's going to be the case. It appears as though we're headed into some fucking doom and gloom calamity. Right?
Yes, I would have to agree. I mean, I would love to have hopes that there's something out there that's going to like turn all this around, but that would be crazy talk.
You know what's weird? It seems like our lives are normal, because if you don't pay attention to any of this, you kind of go out there and you're just like, oh, gas is $1 higher than it was last week, or if you don't pay attention to any of this, it seems like your life is pretty normal. And we're not like headed into World War III if we're not already in World War III.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pay attention to stuff and you see how things are like trending toward a calamity, a major fucking thing, it's disconcerting, to say the least. So what I will say to that is continue to do what you've been doing, which is prepping,
mm-hmm.
and making sure you have all of the things that you think you might need in the future. And don't think just because ammo is cheap now that it'll be cheap in the future. So if you don't have some,
you might want to stockpile.
Well, you might want to look at what your priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
What are your priorities? Where are you deficient? And start looking at those things and realizing that, yeah, it's not like fucking really bad now, but that could change in a real big hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Real big hurry. So with all the shit that was going on during COVID and how disruptive all of those riots and everything were, and, you know, and everybody was kind of freaked out about that a little bit. And a lot of people started prepping. Now's even worse than that. So if you don't have your shit together, that's what I would say is start figuring out what it is that you think you need and start chipping away at it a little bit at a time, because it's not fucking looking good. And I don't like to say that, but that's just the way I feel. And I think that that's the reality moving forward until things change.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
Yes, I agree.
Let me just ask you this, Rebecca, before we finish. What do you think is the solution politically, if there is a solution that you can even come up with?
I would love to say that I have a solution, but I don't. I would say if we could just wipe out everybody and start fresh.
Tim Dillon said that the other day. He said we should wipe out half the population. We should just kill 3-4 billion people. And then the other 3-4 billion people would have plenty of resources. And they'd also come with a new renewed enthusiasm for life, because they're like, oh, well, at least I'm not the people that got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was his solution. So is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are you really? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm referring to government. Wipe out government and start from.
But that's not the reality. That's not even close to being a reality, because again, we are dealing with an enemy within. We have no power as people. So I guess what I'm really asking and what I'm suggesting is, do we have any kind of because see, people are never going to rise up. That's a fucking pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
There's never going to be a revolution with people picking up guns and, taking back their government. That's fucking never happening. People are not going to do that. Even though they talk a big game, they're not going to do that. So that's not a possibility. The only possibility that I see it is just to provide, or just to create a situation where no party has all the levers of power. Keep them divided as possible. That's it. That's the only thing we can do to slow this down.
Yeah.
Because if Trump's a lame duck, that slows his ass down. That slows the Republicans down. And that also slows the Democrats down. They're going to be fighting for power. So we just keep these fuckers on the ropes entirely. Now, Nick Fuentes thinks, oh, we're going to put in our person. That's not happening either, dude. It's not fucking happening. You know why? Because there's an enemy within. They're never going to allow it.
They're just going to get corrupted once they go in. Because I somewhat think that that's what happened to Trump. But I also think that there was enough bad to hold over him.
The best we can hope for is a divided government. That's all we can hope for. That's how we slow down the destruction of our country. But our country's headed toward some kind of destruction. It's always trending toward less freedom. So the only way you slow that down potentially is just make sure you have a divided government. Never give the Democrats full power. Never give the Republicans full power, because they're both pieces of shit, and they don't have any of our interests in mind. The only time they get excited is when they can vote to raise the budget and send our money abroad. That's the only time they all unify.
And go to war.
That's sending our money abroad. For the most part, we don't fight wars on our fucking soil. We fight wars around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's on somebody else's behalf. That's not really on our behalf. They tell you that it is. But why the fuck did we go to Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen? That's for Israel. That ain't for us, man. Those people are not attacking us. They'll tell you that they are. Oh, it's a terror cell. Bullshit. When was the last time you saw a terror cell in this country? I'm getting fired up again.
I know. We need to say goodnight.
I know. I'm on one.
You're too much, man.
Are you going to sign us off, or am I going to keep going?
No, we don't want you to keep going. They don't want you to keep going. They're like, just could you please calm that guy down?
Yeah. I drank a beer tonight, guys. Check it out. It's a Sierra Nevada Atomic Torpedo IPA.
See, he's in his own bomb.
9.2%.
He's in his own war.
That's right.
Hey, have a great evening, you guys.
That's right.
Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to him.
Cheers to you all, and go out and be better tomorrow than you were today.